विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषः शून्यवादी आस्तिक्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Gaura, Hare Ho, Hare Ho, Hare Ho, Hare Gaura, Hare Ho, Hare Ho, Hare Ho, Hare Gaura, Hare Ho, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Ram Sankirtan Yajna ki.
So on behalf of the organizers, I want to welcome everyone today. Some of you are from NUS, some of you may be from NTU, anyone else from anywhere else, SUTD, yes. No one from SMU, right? Not yet, yeah, let's see. I was in NUS a long time ago. I think I was there in 1991. I was in the Faculty of Law, right? So that was my link to NUS, and I'm very happy to see all of you. Ananta Acharya, do you want to say something before we start? Okay, sure.
Hare Krishna, a warm good evening, everyone. Thanks again for joining us on this Thursday evening on this occasion of celebrating the annual Diwali festival. So today is a special gathering because we have a joint audience from universities in different areas of Singapore. So mainly universities like NUS, NTU, and SUTD. So many of us know the speaker very well. But for newcomers' benefit, let me give a brief introduction. He is Mr. Shiva Kumar, commonly known as Devaki Nandan Prabhu. As he said, he finished his, he graduated from NUS Law School in the year 1995, and he is practicing his own law for more than 23 years now. He is also an adjunct professor at ISEC French Business School. He travels worldwide to preach the wisdom of Gita. Today, we feel very delighted in having you, Prabhu. Over to you.
Thank you very much. You will see on the projector screen. It's a blown up version of the deity that you see in the center. It's very beautifully done. And it's a bit far for all of you, so that's why we have the projector. If you see this, this is the deity form of Krishna as a little boy. And you see his mother, Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda is tying Krishna, right, to the mota. All of us have grown up at some point or another on some pastime of Krishna. And this pastime of Krishna is very, very well loved by followers of this wonderful culture all over the world. And Diwali is coming. And even though we know that the COVID restrictions are there, we still can't do the kind of visiting that we used to do. But that's why we decided that it's better that we invite all of you here for the program. Because at least in the center, we have the opportunity to meet more devotees, right? Don't worry, you're all very safe from me because I'm shielded, done my ART test, hopefully tested negative. Yes, got the confirmation. So I'm allowed to speak without the mask, right? Diwali has many significances in our Vedic culture. One of the very important Vedic significances of Diwali, and the significance of Diwali, is actually, it is a time when Lord Ram, after vanquishing Ravana, actually made his way back to Ayodhya. And as he came back, you know, all the denizens of heaven, all the citizens of the world, they became so happy and so relieved because Ravana had been a source of great harassment for them. The other very important significance of Diwali is actually during the time, it's actually found in Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's actually about Krishna vanquishing the powerful demon known as Bhaumasura, sometimes known as Narakasura. You would have heard about him also. So during the day, on Diwali day, we normally, a lot of devotees, especially in Singapore, they also have understood, or at least they have been exposed to this idea of Krishna slaying Narakasura. And if you have also been a follower or a worshipper of Lord Ram, then you will understand the significance of why Diwali is also very important. There is a third significance to Diwali that we don't often hear about, but actually it's also found in the Sastras. It's actually found in the Bhagavata Purana in the 10th canto. And this particular pastime occurs actually on the day of Diwali itself. Right? It happens in the morning of Diwali. And this month is considered very auspicious because this is the month of Kartik. It's the Kartik Mass. And it is stated actually in our scriptures that any attempt at devotional service to the Lord, in particular, just offering a lamp, a ghee lamp, just offering a lamp to the Lord with some form of sincerity and devotion will actually free us from so much of sinful reactions that we may advertently or inadvertently have accumulated over the course of our lifetime. What is the definition of sin in Sastras? That's a very important point. The definition of sin in Sastras simply means forgetfulness of our position in relationship to the supreme position of the Lord. That is actually the definition of sin. In other words, every time we forget that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, every time we forget that we have a relationship with God, and every time we forget our eternal relationship and who we are actually, that we are not just this body, at that time, our activities will generally be for what we call enjoyment of the material senses. It will not be for the satisfaction of the Lord. All of you have gathered here today on a Thursday evening. It's not easy. You have so many things to do. Tomorrow it's Friday. But you've taken time and trouble to come, take darshan of the Lord, hear his chanting, and hear about his pastime. In this kind of activities, it is very difficult for sinful thinking to happen. So when we talk about sin in Vedic culture, it's a little different from the idea of sin as we normally know. It is actually a state of forgetfulness. The whole point of our Vedic culture is to revive an understanding of who we are, our real identity. At least to start with the most important question, that we are actually not this body. And if we are not this body, then who are we? If we are this body, then this body should when it dies, we should also go with it. But we all know that in this material world, even when the body dies, we all understand that the body is gone, but we know something else continues. So it's very important that we understand this. And that's why the Vedic culture looks beyond matter and it actually looks into spirit. So this is the time of the month when it's very important for us to spend a bit of time contemplating. And lighting a lamp, which you will all do today, is considered very auspicious. Even if you accidentally light a lamp, the Lord becomes very pleased with you. If you light a lamp with love, He becomes more pleased with you. Even if you light the lamp and you are not sure what is happening, it has its effect. It is likened to the power of fire. Fire doesn't distinguish between a child touching fire and an adult touching fire, isn't it? If the fire will not say stop, you are a child, that fire will not burn you. Fire is fire, it will burn you. And another example I use actually is the Singapore example. Whether you believe in a government or any government in the world, when the government is there and your taxman sends you your tax notice, you can't say, I don't believe in this government, I won't pay taxes. Good luck to you. It's not going to happen. You have to pay. So therefore, whether or not we believe in these concepts, they happen. That's the power of this Vedic culture. So on the morning of Diwali, this particular pastime of Krishna being tied by Mother Yashoda happened. And it is tradition for us that during this Kartik Mass, we remember this pastime very fondly. This is not just a pastime where it is based on sentiment. You know, we just feel good about it. Krishna is a baby. It sounds very nice. But after you hear the pastime, you will also understand that there is deep meaning to the pastime. And there are many things that we can take. So we'll try and spend maybe 20 minutes trying to speak about this pastime as it happens in Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's very auspicious because it fixes us in the right mood. So you all know Yashoda. She is the mother of Krishna. And this pastime takes place in Vrindavan Dham. How many of you have been to Vrindavan? Okay. Anyway, I'm not sure whether you have a chance now. You have to wait for a while before you go to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a very, very holy place in India, right? It's in UP. But Vrindavan is more than just a geographical place. Vrindavan is a state of consciousness. It's a state of constant remembrance of our relationship with God and the supremacy of God. That is Vrindavan, actually. So one morning, Bhagavatam tells us, Mother Yashoda woke up on Diwali day. And on Diwali day, like all of you, we always get ready, we dress up nicely, and we welcome visitors. So Mother Yashoda on that day dressed very nicely. And she had so many things to do because it was Deepavali or Diwali, the way you call it. And in the morning, she wanted to do one thing that was very important. She wanted to churn butter for Krishna. You all know that Krishna has a long history with butter, isn't it? He has a deep connection with butter. He loves butter. And as a boy, he had this habit of stealing butter. Imagine if you are the mother of a child and every day you make the best butter in the world, but your child goes to your neighbor's house to steal butter or goes to somebody's house to eat. If you're a mother, you become very insecure, right? You'll be thinking, what's wrong with my butter? So Mother Yashoda was receiving complaints from all her neighbors that every day Krishna, like a thief, would go to their house and steal butter and eat. And she knew for a fact that her cows were giving the best butter in town. So Mother Yashoda was thinking, what's wrong with my butter? But anyway, she thought, I cannot allow my son to continue stealing. Today, he's very small. Everyone will adore him. When he grows up, he'll become a juvenile delinquent. And that's not very good, isn't it? So Mother Yashoda was thinking, that let me churn the best butter for him today. And in that way, she started churning butter. Now, I don't think in our generation, most of us have churned butter before. In Singapore, I don't think that'll ever happen. But maybe in India, you may have seen it, maybe sometime. But I remember speaking to many devotees in India whose grandparents, my spiritual master also told me that churning butter is such a naturally tiring experience that in those days, the ladies didn't have to go to gym, he said. He said it was all natural. Everything that they did was just good exercise. So churning butter was an effort. Mother Yashoda was decked up very nicely. She had maidservants. She could have asked the maidservants to churn the butter, but she didn't want to do that. Why? Because she had a personal relationship with Krishna. That's the first takeaway for us. When we perform bhakti, or when we want to establish a relationship with the Supreme Lord, it has to be personal. You can't outsource this. It's one of those things where you must do it from your own. You cannot tell someone, you please pray for me, and you continue doing whatever you want. Sometimes we used to have faith, our parents will pray very hard for us and we will do whatever we want. But actually in bhakti, whatever that we do is personal. In Sanskrit, this is known as granatascha swachestita. In other words, with one's own endeavor. So Mother Yashoda she set a good example. She could easily have got the maid servants to do it, but she decided, it is my love for Krishna that must become the foundation of my activity. This is a very important point. When we perform a service for Krishna, the foundation of it is not the service. The foundation of it is important difference. Those who understand that and perform service for Krishna, they become very blissful doing it. If we don't understand that foundation, the service will be just another activity and we just want to finish it. It will be mundane, you see. So it's very important for us to know that. So Mother Yashoda had the right attitude. And so she started churning. Even though it was hard work, Bhagavatam tells us, even though it was hard work, the beauty of it was that she was smiling. Her hair, she had Malati flowers in her hair, which are very sweet smelling, and they were becoming disheveled. She had tied her sari in a certain way, but it was becoming a bit disheveled because she was actually putting in effort. But she was not tired, she didn't complain, because she was thinking of Krishna. That's why it's very important for us to understand the word God consciousness. God consciousness means the more we are conscious of someone whom we love, you'll realize that whatever activity that we are doing is not very painful. If you love someone, even in this material world, no matter how difficult something is, you don't see it as labor. You actually see it as a labor of love, isn't it? As parents, we know how, we are able to bend over backwards for our children. And even though it's so difficult, if you ask a parent, do you want to do it again? They'll say there is a sweetness to it. We will do it again. How much more if we did it for God? So Mother Yashoda was thinking and remembering about Krishna's pastimes. She was remembering how all the things that he would do. And it's very important in Bhagavatam that when one remembers Krishna's pastimes, they are considered to be auspicious. The gopis sing this beautiful verse, Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibirivitam kalmasapaham Shravana mangalam Shrimadatatam Bhuvi granantiye Bhurida janaha Jaiti tedikam Janmana vraja Shrayata indira Shashwaratrahi Daita drishyatam Dikshutavakas Tvaidrita savas Tvam vichinvate. In the first shloka, Tava kathamritam. Katha means story. Amrita means nectar. So the gopis sing that any pastime related to Krishna, anything connected to Krishna is always very sweet. For example, we sang 10 minutes this wonderful Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You realize that the power of spiritual vibrations, mantras, is that no matter how many times we chant them, we never get tired of them. Many of us have been chanting for decades, but we never tire of it. I always tell people, you try chanting Coca-Cola for 10 minutes. Just Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. You become very frustrated. You try chanting your own name, which may not be a devotional name. Just chant it, twinkle, dimple, whatever. You just chant. And you'll find that there's no taste to it. That's why mundane music in this world thrives, because it keeps changing. And everyone's taste changes. But we can chant Krishna's names over and over and over and still not lose taste for it. That means there is something there. And that is considered to be spirit, not matter. So Mother Yashoda was very happy chanting Krishna's names. Tava kathamritam, tapta jivanam. Tapta jivanam in Sanskrit means the names of Krishna are like nectar. And they are the life and the soul of the devotees. And that's why Mother Yashoda was so happy. And while she was doing that and she was remembering Krishna, what happened? Krishna was asleep. He was a little boy and he was asleep. But Krishna is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's playing a role. The beauty of bhakti or love of God is that we can relate to God in different ways. Some of us will relate to him as a child. Some of us may relate to him as a father. Arjuna related to Krishna as a friend and then a spiritual master. Yashoda Mata relates to Krishna as a little boy. The gopis related to Krishna as their conjugal lover. So there are different ways in which we can. Hanumanji related to Lord Rama as his eternal servitor. In all these relationships, the denomination is bhakti. It is love. So Mother Yashoda was actually churning, remembering Krishna, and Krishna reciprocated by waking up, and he ran to her and he told her to stop churning. He indicated to her, and he indicated that he was hungry for her milk. And so, like any good mother, she started feeding Krishna. As she fed Krishna, it became the perfection of her existence. Now, while she was feeding Krishna, Bhagavatam tells us that she had put a pot of milk already on the stove in the kitchen. And that was meant for the Lord. So the stove was about to boil over, and the milk pan would have spilled the milk. So she was caught in a little bit of a quandary. Should I go and get the milk, but I haven't finished feeding Krishna? If you don't finish feeding a child, mothers, children are they're not very satisfied. They are capable of throwing what we call a tantrum. All of us threw tantrums, by the way. Your parents may or may not have told you. But when we are not satisfied with something, we become angry. So Mother Yashoda was thinking, Krishna is not fully fed. If I put him down, he'll be upset. But if I don't, then the milk will boil over, it will burn. So I must save the milk. That was her decision. So she quickly put down Krishna and quickly ran in. Now, the moment she ran in, Krishna, do not forget, is God. But God is not some faraway concept in our culture. God is very close, and God can relate to us in so many different rasas. Krishna played the perfect role of a child. He did not lie down and say, now I am actually Lord Vishnu in Ananta Shayanam. He didn't do that. He was actually a little boy. So a little boy means gets angry, isn't it? So Krishna decided, let me exhibit transcendental anger. So he bit his lips, Bhagavatam said. He took a stone, and because his mother had left him unfed, he decided to break the pot of butter that she was churning. Classical mischief, isn't it? So he picked up the stone and he threw it at the pot, and the pot broke. The moment the pot broke, the butter that was being churned started coming out. Now Krishna could not resist butter, but he had committed what we would call quite a serious crime, if I may use that word. So he decided, better I run away, because if Mother Yashoda comes back and sees I broke the butter pot, then she will be upset with me. So he was going to run away, but he couldn't resist the butter. So he took some butter and he ran away, right? If you are going to steal and you're going to be caught, you might as well just take something, isn't it? Enjoy it before you get caught. So Krishna went that way, and he ran into the store. Mother Yashoda comes out, and she sees an amazing sight. She sees that Krishna is not there, but she sees that butter is everywhere, and the butter pot has been broken. Now Mother Yashoda is smiling. We may think, why is she smiling? Mothers, you will know why you smile sometimes. Sometimes, even if your children are very mischievous or do something very naughty, externally, sometimes you have to be strict with them, because if you don't, they will climb on your head. But from time to time, you also marvel at their mischief, but you can't show it to them, right? So Mother Yashoda started smiling to herself. She had so much love for Krishna. She said, this boy is very intelligent. He didn't stay back. He decided to run away because he knew I'll get angry. But now I have to stop him, because if he continues with this butter stealing business, he's going to grow up to be a delinquent. So Mother Yashoda decided, on Diwali day, I have no choice. I have to discipline the boy. She took a stick and she walked into the store. Now, as she walked inside, she saw an amazing sight in the room. Now, she had a room where she had butter pots all kept very high up, high enough so that Krishna would not be able to reach it. But Krishna was very smart. Krishna had turned a mortar. You see him? I think you can see the mortar behind. It's a pestle, the kind where you can either put down horizontally, or if you put it up, it's high enough. So Krishna was seated on the mortar, and he was tall enough then to break a pot. Butter was flowing, and Krishna was feeding all his friends. His friends were the monkeys from Vrindavan. I mean monkeys, as in the animals, not monkeys as in mischievous monkeys, but monkeys. Now, the monkeys in Vrindavan, they're very amazing. Why are they amazing? Because when you go to Vrindavan, everyone will tell you, even the acharyas will tell you, that the monkeys in Vrindavan are actually considered to be sages and great saintly personalities who could not finish their time of spiritual perfection, but somehow they have come back to Vrindavan to somehow serve Krishna. But Shastras also tell us this particular group of monkeys, they were very happy with Krishna. They were good friends with Krishna. They were as mischievous as Krishna. So while Krishna was feeding them butter, they were all taking butter from their hands, from his hands. Oh yeah, it's here actually. That's what I was thinking. Why is Ananta Prabhu pointing? Yeah, this is the pastime. We are coming to right there, right this point. So Krishna was feeding them all very nicely with butter. And of course, while he was feeding them, he was feeding himself also. And at that time, Mother Yashoda thought, this is a wondrous sight. Krishna just playing with the monkeys. But our Shastras say, this exchange between Krishna and the monkeys has a very deep significance. In Ram Leela, when Krishna came as Lord Ram, these same monkeys came as the Vanaras. They were the monkeys who assisted Hanuman, Sugriva, Angada. They're all known as the race of Vanaras. Today, colloquially, we use the word monkeys, but actually the race was always known as Vanaras. They're not monkeys, actually. So this race of Vanaras, they were very powerful. And they surrendered to Lord Ram and assisted him to get back Mother Sita from the clutches of Ravana. And after the great war in Lanka was over, as Lord Ram was going to come back, and that's another significance of Diwali, as he was going to come back, all the Vanaras were there with him. And the Lord expressed his gratitude to the Vanaras. This is the greatness of God. God is not some far off figure. God is so wonderful that he can express gratitude to his devotees because it is an exchange. So Lord Ram expressed his great thanks and gratitude to the Vanaras for helping him. And he asked them for one thing. He said, whatever boon that you want, I will give it to you. Just tell me what I can do for you, because I am indebted to you and I cannot repay my gratitude to you. Now, when the Vanaras heard that, they could have asked for anything. Frankly speaking, if somebody came and I knew he was capable of giving me anything, I would ask, I have a list, and it'll be a big list. But the Vanaras only asked for one thing. They said, my dear Lord Ram, you are so kind. We have no qualification actually. We are all speaking gibberish. We are not educated. We don't have a house we can invite you in for prasad. We don't have BA, MA, LLB, nothing like that. And yet, despite all our disqualifications, you have accepted us as your friend. It's a beautiful verse, Na janmanunam mahato na saubhagam navam na buddhi na krite stesha hetuho tairyad vrishishtan apino vanaukasha chakara sakye batalakshmana grajaha. So this is what the Vanaras were chanting. But Lord Ram said, so they said, we only ask for one thing. We ask that when you come again to this world, when you come again to annihilate the miscreants, when you come again to restore order and protect your devotees, at that time when you come, please allow us to come back, O Lord. Let us come back so that again we can be with you. Again we can serve you. That's all we want. We want service, life after life after life. And this is the second point we should take back. That actually there is no more greater satisfaction in our hearts than to serve the Lord. Even in the mundane world, a higher form of love is when you satisfy someone and they become happy. You ask all the social workers of the world, you ask the people who have extended themselves, you tell, why are you extending so much? And they will tell you that there is no greater satisfaction than serving someone and making them happy. We do not realize, the Shastras tell us, that our propensity is actually to serve. Think about it. We all serve. When we are young, we will serve someone whom we admire. When we are older, we admire someone, we serve them. Our whole life is actually spent in service. When you have a family, you serve your wife, you serve your children, vice versa. When you grow older, you may serve society. Everyone serves everyone. And if somebody comes and says, I don't serve anyone, then Shastras say, yes, you serve your mind. You serve the dictates of your mind. You serve your senses. You serve your anger. You serve your lust. You serve your greed. So no one can claim to be free of service. But to whom we serve is the difference between peace and disturbance. And therefore, the Vanaras are exalting the value of serving the Supreme Personality of God. Now, at that point of time, when that happened, Lord Ram said, so be it. When I come back, I will definitely have you come back. And so he never forgot that. And that's the beauty of God. Krishna never forgets anything that we have done. We may forget, but he never forgets. So when Krishna came to Vrindavan as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shyam Sundar, as this little boy Damodara, he brought the monkeys with him. And these monkeys became his best friends. And here, there was a slight change to the order of things. Whereas there, the Vanaras served Lord Ram with veneration, awe and reverence, here, Krishna turned the tables. In this particular Leela, at that particular time, Krishna fulfilled the desire of the Vanaras to be with him, but he did not fulfill one other thing. They wanted to serve him, but he decided to serve them. He served them butter. That's what he wanted, because they had served him so much. Isn't that what love is actually? That we don't let someone serve us all the time. We also fight to serve somebody. That is love. And so Krishna did that, and he fulfilled his vow of millions of years ago when he came as Lord Ram. Such a wonderful relationship. Now something happened. After the monkeys were feeding very nicely, they then saw Mother Yashoda at the door. She just had come inside. Now when Mother Yashoda was at the door, Krishna's back was to her. So Krishna could not see her, but he saw the monkeys disappear very, very quickly. Butter or no butter. So what did he do? The Lord knew already that Mother Yashoda must be behind. So he turned around in fear. Krishna, fearful. But he turned around as a child would be. When he saw his mother, it was all right. But when he saw the stick, it was not. And so at that point of time, Krishna jumped off the motor and started running. And Mother Yashoda thought, he's just a small boy. He will run, but where can he hide? You know, we've all had small children. When they run, we catch them. But Krishna is not a small child. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are thousands of yogis and rishis and munis who are running after him, but they cannot catch him. There are great demons who want to conquer Krishna, but they cannot catch him because they want to catch him out of their own material motives. Mother Yashoda ran and ran and ran. Every time she thought she could catch Krishna, he was 2 meters ahead. She tried again, he was another 2 meters ahead. And for the second time in the day, she was endeavoring. What's the first time? The first time was when she was churning butter. The second time was when she was running after her son Krishna. And as she ran and she became very tired, Krishna saw that his mother had expended so much effort. And out of mercy, he allowed himself to be caught. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead was caught by his mother. Something that great yogis are trying, but they cannot. Krishna cannot be understood by mental speculation. He cannot be understood by yogic exercises. He cannot be understood by great philosophical speculation. He can only be obtained on the basis of love. And that love must be unmotivated love. That is the mother's love of Yashoda. And so Mother Yashoda caught him, and she decided, let me bring him to the motor and let me tie him for a while. Otherwise, this whole day will go by without him being still, right? I don't know whether you all had any punishments when you were young. Some people had punishment if they were wrong or naughty. Go and stand in the corner and don't move. I think it's happened to a few of us, right? My mother was a bit more creative. She had tools of the trade, which she thought was better. Spare the rod and spoil the child. But today, those things are not very common. No? But anyway, Mother Yashoda decided that I must actually do something. But she saw an amazing sight. Krishna, when he saw her with the stick, had become very fearful. Very, very fearful. He had mascara, and because tears were coming out of tears of fear, his mascara was being washed away. Krishna had shark-shaped earrings, and as he was shaking and quaking in fear, the shark-shaped earrings were making noise. Such elaborate descriptions are found in our scriptures about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so Mother Yashoda became very kind. She became very soft in her heart. Again, that happens to us even in this world, isn't it? We want to discipline them, but we feel no. But Mother Yashoda's love was not founded on sentiment. It was founded on devotion. And so she thought, I will put down my stick, so he will not be angry. So she has the stick here, but by the time she ties him, the stick is down. The stick is down. So then what does she do? She says, Krishna, I'm going to tie you now. And this is another amazing thing. It is stated in this world that the great demons who try to kill Krishna, they are fearful of him. And yet Krishna is fearful of Mother Yashoda. Amazing, isn't it? This is the exchange of love. And so Mother Yashoda took a rope, she brought it around the motor, she brought it to Krishna's belly, and she proceeded to tie. But she had one issue. When she brought it up there, technically speaking, the rope would have been long enough because Krishna was not an obese child. He was not very plump. He wasn't very thin. He had a little bit, like normal baby fat, but very easily tied. But in this case, the rope was 2 inches short, 2 inches short. So she took more rope, tied it together, brought it around it, and it was 2 inches short. She tries it for the third time, and it's 2 inches short. And by now, for the third time today, Mother Yashoda is getting tired. First is when she churns, second is when she's running, and third, I can't even tie my boy because it's 2 inches short. She's trying and trying. And at that point of time, when Krishna sees how much of effort Mother Yashoda is doing, with so much of innocence and so much of love, he decides, all right, she caught me, now let me be bound by her. And that's an amazing thing, because no one can bind the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because God in all religions and all faith has one quality, the quality of Swaraj. Swaraj means independence. God is fully independent. God is free to do what he wants, when he wants. That is his domain of independence. We think we are independent. But frankly, I think by now, after living for 20 years or more, you realize that we are very dependent on many, many things. Many things. We wish we were independent, but actually we are not. So Krishna was bound, and he was bound by the ropes. Now the acharyas, the teachers, they tell us this 2 inches of the rope is very significant. Why? Because they represent 2 very important qualities and ingredients necessary for successful devotional service. The first is actually our endeavor. We cannot always think that, why should I worship God? He's in my heart. Many people tell us that. I don't have to come to a temple. I don't have to wake up to sit down with God because he's in my heart. Imagine if you love someone, okay, your husband or your wife. And then, every year Diwali comes, you don't buy anything for her. No new sari, no jewelry, nothing. And she tells you, why don't you do all these things? And you say, you are always in my heart. I love you very much. Why should I externally show you that? It's a clever argument, but it won't get you very far. And tomorrow, if she decides that the kitchen is going to be closed and you can't cook, then good luck to you. My point is that in love, there is always reciprocation. And that is the point of Shastras. The point of Shastras is that we cannot always think that spiritual life is just something that will come. In the material world, nothing comes for free. You're all in NTU, NUS, and SUTD. You alone know how much endeavor is needed to even produce results. And even then, sometimes it's not the result you want. Why is it that in spiritual life, we don't translate that common sense logic? And we think, I can sit back and I'll wait. Sometimes we say, let me retire and I withdraw my CPF account and I'm settled down, and then I will think of God. But by then, we become so conditioned in material existence, it's very difficult to break habits. At 55, try becoming saintly. It's not very easy. You're normally saintly after 55 when life has slapped you quite a bit. And then you look at life differently. But why wait till then? Why not start early? This is very important. So endeavor is the most important thing. You all have fulfilled the first inch because you have made the endeavor to come here and see Lord Damodara on Kartik, in Kartik month. And that too, you're going to offer a lamp. So that's an amazing first inch, fully fulfilled. The second is mercy. Mercy doesn't come from us. Mercy is coming from the Lord. But the Lord's mercy is attracted by your endeavor. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. To the extent that you reciprocate with him, and surrender to him, he reciprocates with you. There is exchange of love, right? So this is very important. The 2 inches, that's why the rope was short. But when Krishna decided to give mercy on the strength of endeavor, the rope was perfect. That's the combination that we need. So Mother Yashoda was very happy. Today is Diwali, I have tied my son up, and now he will be quiet. And so she goes away. And the first half of the pastime is finished. But now we come to the concluding part, which is also very important. After Krishna is left to be, for a while he agrees to be bound. But then he decides, well, Mother Yashoda is very happy that she's bound me. I'm also happy for a while I've obeyed her, but I'm independent and I intend to do something else. So he started crawling. Now, when you crawl and you have a mota with you, if you're an ordinary baby, you can't move. The mota will crush you. But Krishna is Krishna. So as he started crawling, the mota turned from vertical to horizontal and started rolling with him. And he started moving towards the end of his courtyard, where there were two beautiful trees known as Yamal Arjuna trees. They're very old trees. They are still found in Vrindavan, not very common, but they are still there. So Krishna decided to crawl between the two trees. And the mota moved with him, but he got stuck. When he pushed a little harder, the trees fell, and they fell with a crash. Two beautiful, effulgent beings emerged, very godly in personality. And Krishna asked them smilingly, who are you? And what is your history? And then they replied, we were actually the great sons of Kuvera. You may have heard that Kuvera is normally known as the superintendent of wealth. He's basically the treasurer of the Devatas. And having a father who has a treasury and who has plenty of money, the two sons were naturally not very much in a hurry to work. And Nala Kuvera and Manigriva explained to Krishna that many, many, many years ago, when they were the sons of Kuvera, they were just enjoying life because they didn't have anything else to do. They were drunk, they were intoxicated, they did all the activities that they were not supposed to do. One day they were so inebriated, they were swimming in the lake and sporting with some ladies when Narada Muni, a great sage, and powerful devotee, he walked past. The ladies had the decency to dress themselves up in front of the saintly personality. But Nala Kuvera and Manigriva did not. They just came out without any clothes and they looked completely intoxicated. Narada looked at them and became compassionate. He asked one very important question, which is a question we should all ask. He said, to whom does this body belong? Does this body belong to the person who claims to be the body? If that is so, the body should never leave us. It should always be with us. Does the body belong to our parents or our children or our relatives? Does the body belong to the state? Because if it does, it should go to them. But at the time of death, the body doesn't go to any of these personalities. The body is committed to where it has come from. And in so saying that, he said, you have wasted human life. Therefore, I now give you what we call a curse. Now, the great personalities sound like they curse people, but actually it's meant for their benefit. Narada said, may you become trees in your next life. But I pray that you become trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, or that you become trees in such a way that Krishna somehow or another, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will give you blessings. Now, when they heard that, they got very scared. Why trees? Because they said that, because Narada said, trees do not have to wear clothes, and you're not interested in wearing clothes, so become trees. And trees, their consciousness is a bit low, and your consciousness is always low because of your inebriation. So become trees. And so then they prayed very hard that please deliver us from this. And then Narada said, my prayer is that somehow or another, you come in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That touch will deliver you. And so with full of compassion, Narada left. And they became trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. And they waited for the day when Krishna would come and deliver them. Now, Krishna ends this pastime by telling them something very startling. He says, my dear, not trees. He says, my dear Nala Kuvera and Manigriva. Actually, frankly speaking, I have nothing to do with you. But because Narada Muni, who is a very dear devotee of mine, has prayed for you, it becomes my duty to deliver you. This is a very important principle in bhakti. We may not feel qualified to worship the Lord directly, but when we serve the devotees who serve the Lord becomes very pleased. It's a very important principle. That's why it is known as Bhaktai Bhakta Jana Priyaha. Even my devotees are very dear to me, but the devotees of my devotees, they are even more dear to me. It's a very important principle. That is why we come together. Because not only do we serve the Lord in his form of Archa Vigraha, but we also serve the devotees because we know how precious they are to Krishna. And so the two boys, the sons of Kuvera, they were actually delivered by the mercy of Krishna, but that mercy was coming through Narada. That is very important. And so the whole pastime on Diwali day ends. What are some of our takeaways? One very important theme in this pastime is the theme of relationship. Do you realize that Krishna had such a beautiful relationship as the perfect son? Perfect doesn't mean he's perfectly calm and good. No, he's perfectly mischievous because that's how children are. But he played the perfect role of a son because Mother Yashoda played the perfect role of a mother. That was one relationship. There's another relationship in this pastime, the relationship between Krishna and the monkeys, who actually are Vanaras, exalted devotees, and he never forgot them. And then there's a third one, the relationship between Krishna and the two boys, Nala Kuvera and Manigriva. Though they were not directly devotees, but he came to them because of the prayers of his devotee Narada. 3 levels of relationship. The other important thing about this pastime is that in all these relationships, you find Krishna has become bound. Mother Yashoda bound Krishna not with the ropes here, not physical ropes. She actually bound him by the ropes of her love. That is very important. Have you heard of this pastime of Kubja, the hunchback who sees Krishna, and then later Krishna transforms her into a beautiful person? When Krishna went to Mathura, there was this hunchback known as Kubja, and she was always in the service of Kamsa. But when she saw Krishna, she became so enamored and attracted to him because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that she gave up her service to Kamsa and she wanted to put sandalwood for Krishna. So she lovingly applied sandalwood, and then Krishna put one foot of his on her foot, put one of his hands on her chin, and he just made her straight. When Kubja became straightened up, Bhagavatam tells us, she became the most beautiful maiden in Vrindavan, Mathura. We call her Miss Mathura. She was so beautiful, actually. Everybody became enamored by her. At that point of time, Kubja then invited Krishna to her house so that she could serve him. Now, many people who do not read Shastras, they say that Krishna accepted Kubja's invitation because he was attracted to her beauty. But Bhagavatam tells us Krishna was attracted to her beauty, but her beauty was the beauty of her service to him, not her physical beauty. In the same way, Krishna was attracted to the beauty of Mother Yashoda's love. And he was attracted to the beauty of the love of the Vanaras in previous time when he came as Ram. And in the last part of the pastime, he was bound by the love of Narada. So much so that he would have to fulfill Narada's prayer and save the two boys. So the first rope in this pastime is visible. The second rope with the Vanaras is not so visible, but it's there. And the third rope with Narada is even more removed, but it is there. So when you look at it, right, there are 3 ropes in this pastime, and they are all ropes of love, all ropes of devotional service. And thus ends the beautiful pastime of Damodara and his mother Yashoda. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. I hope you take this back and frame this in your heart, because this is one of the great pastimes of Krishna. And you realize after hearing this pastime that it is not just something sentimental or a story. There's so much of meaning attached to it. Always remember, all these pastimes of the Lord are not mythology. They are actually recordings. They were actually happenings between the Lord and his devotees. We must surely not fall within the fallacy of what I have not experienced does not exist. I hope we will not be caught in the fallacy of what I have not seen does not exist. I have not seen ex-President Trump in person, therefore, he does not exist. That would be fallacious. So therefore, just because we did not witness this pastime doesn't mean it never happened. But the problem is we are so caught up with material energy that sometimes in our mind we think, did it really happen? And that is a test of our faith. So thank you very much for being very patient. Thank you very much for being here today. We're going to end today's program by chanting. Can we put up the shloka, Prabhu? We are going to chant the 8 shlokas that we traditionally chant. They are known as Damodar Ashtakam. And I would sincerely request all of you to please chant. Please chant this beautiful prayer. Whatever that I related to you is based on these prayers. All 8 of these prayers actually speak about the pastime. And when we chant these prayers, the devotees are going to get the ghee lamps out now. When we finish chanting these 8 prayers, then we will chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for about 10 minutes. And all of you can come forward and you can light your lamps and offer it to Lord Damodara. Okay? And what should our prayer be when we offer the lamps? Should I pray that my exam results be better? Should I pray that, I find a good husband or a good wife? Should I pray that, I upgrade my car or my house? All that is there. But I think a deeper prayer is that I pray that by lighting this lamp, I will once again ignite this wonderful relationship that I may have forgotten between myself and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that I pray somehow or another that Krishna becomes pleased with my bhakti. That prayer is very powerful. Life after life, we have come into this world, but now we have a chance to actually remember the Lord. Our coming together is not accident. It is actually arrangement of Krishna. So let's get ready. Okay. What we can do is we can invite each person to come and then just keep a bit of a space and they can line up and do it. Otherwise, it will take too long. Yeah. Okay, what will probably happen is that Dinabandhu Prabhu here will probably invite you all to come forward. So you come forward and light it after we sing this. We'll sing it first, Prabhu, and then we will light it. And then the rest of you can form a line. Just keep your distance here, make sure with the rest of the devotees. We'll keep a distance and we will light it. That will be better for you, okay? Thank you. You can also play, both of you. Brahma Vishwaharam Sachiram
Lasat Kundalam Gokul Devajamanam Namamishwaram Sachi Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokul Devajamanam Yashoda Biyolu Karadhamanam Param Vishnamadam Tato Dhutta Gopya Yashoda Biyolu Karadhamanam Param Vishnamadam Tato Dhutta Gopya Swami Krishna जय श्री श्री कार्तिक मास की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। So on behalf of the organizers today, we want to thank all of you very sincerely.
And from the bottom of our hearts that you have joined us today. We wish you a very blissful Diwali ahead. I hope you have a wonderful time with your friends, with your relatives, your families. And just as important, please consider the purport of the pastime. Please remember this pastime. Please try and appreciate the significance of the pastime. And perhaps just like Lord Ram came back from Lanka after vanquishing Ravana, we all have little Ravanas in our hearts. And these Ravanas sometimes prevent us from understanding who we are and why we are here and to whom we should go back to. So these are very important questions. They form the basis of self-inquiry. And this will lead us to spiritual development. So you've all lit your lamps. My suggestion is you can go home. And every day till the end of this Kartik Mass, you just light a lamp. Take a ghee lamp. It's very easily available in Dragon Road especially. Get them. Put a nice picture of Krishna. Like this. You can always get a picture on the internet. Put it there on your altar. And then light the lamp. If you want to sing this, it's available on the net also. Sing it. Or if you find it difficult, play the song. It's available in recordings in YouTube's. And just offer this to the Lord. And you will see so much of satisfaction and peace in your heart actually. And I hope you have your prasadam packets with you. There was a time when we would be able to serve all of you prasadam here, but we'll wait for that day. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your efforts. Hare Krishna.
So thank you very much, all of you, for joining us today. We know India has been a tough situation where we cannot have physical association every time, but we are very much grateful to His grace. Devkinandan Prabhu, let us have 3 loud Hari Bols for Devkinandan Prabhu. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us on a Thursday evening when you could be doing any other things. And like Devki Prabhu rightly pointed to us, let us also introspect with the perspective of the purport and see how we can apply the purport in our day-to-day lives. Least to say we can do is we can offer the ghee lamps every day, which is the most easiest thing that we can do. Apart from that, for those who are already not aware of this, we are having daily reading sessions of Srimad Bhagavatam, as well as we are also having Bhagavad Gita sessions every day. So daily Bhagavatam sessions go on at around 7 to 7:30 p.m. Whereas every day Bhagavad Gita chapter verse a day goes at 9 p.m. Yeah, and apart from that, if any other you have any other questions, any other inquiries, please feel free to reach out to any of the volunteers who are behind, or we can reach out to me or any other devotees as well. We also have book table which is presented behind. So one interesting thing in this month of Damodar Kartik, whatever spiritual activities you perform, this is like a big Singapore sale that you have, right? So this is our special spiritual sale. So whatever spiritual activities you do, the effect of that is multiplied by 1,000 times. So please do not waste the opportunity, make the best out of it, and reach out to whomsoever you are connected with. If you are in NTU, you are connected with Anand Prabhu, myself, Krishna Prabhu. If you are in NUS, we have Brajari Prabhu, we have Anantachara Prabhu. We also have our dear Divya Chaitanya Prabhu, who is connected to the SUDT students. So don't miss this opportunity and remain connected. In case you have any challenges, please reach out to us and we'll see how we can help you. And once again, from the bottom of our heart, on behalf of GRS, we would like to thank all of you for taking over your time on a memorable Thursday evening. And I'm sure you will relish this for the forthcoming month. Thank you very much. If there is nothing else, then we come to you. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna.